All right, so in this video, I'm going to be talking about the new Replit Agent feature that Replit just launched, and it takes this idea of natural language programming even further than we currently have been. And so you may have seen a video that I put out on Cursor and how Cursor is a software that you could use to code using natural language. You can prompt, and it can actually be integrated with tools like Replit, and it'll pull all of your files together in your development environment and help you in the process of building out websites and web applications. Now, with Replit Agent, what this feature does within Replit is it actually will install the programs for you and help you actually take care of a lot of the plumbing, as it's called, that you have to do in the beginning, even with a cursor, and lets you kind of go straight to building out the tool or site or app that you're looking to do. Now, I've tested it out a couple of times already, and this is the beta version. And so I'm noticing that there are areas in which this feature is lacking. I noticed that it lacks when it comes to authentication and setting up logins. However, it's something that is being updated every single day. And so I'm noticing it also get better in general. But I wanted to do an example of how you can use Replit Agent to build out a simple tool for your business or personal use. Replit Agent is definitely catered more towards the beginner type of developer or enthusiast, whereas Cursor and the use of Cursor in combination with large language models like Claude and setting up a back end, you can definitely do a little bit more in the way of complex apps. So currently, I look at Replit Agent as a way of being able to put together simple sort of tools. So I wanted to do a tool for an example where I'm putting together an automation calculator. I run an AI-powered automation agency called Pinterest Media, and I thought I'd do an example where if you are a potential client or someone looking to automate your business, you can use this calculator to see how much time on average you'd be able to save by implementing certain kinds of automations. And so I have a prompt that I actually put together right here using ChatGPT that I'm going to paste into Replit Agent. And so it goes, I'm looking to create a simple savings calculator tool for my automation agency's website. The tool should ask the user input three things: the number of hours spent per week on a repetitive task, the hourly wage of the employee performing the task, and the percentage of the task that can be automated. The tool will then calculate and display total labor cost spent on the task each week, the number of hours saved per week through the automation, the money saved per week based on reduced hours, and then optionally, the yearly savings from automation. It should be simple, user-friendly, and provide quick results. Now, I'll also mention what's cool about Replit Agent is that they actually have a feature here where if you wanted to speak into the chat box, you could actually voice what the description of what you're looking to build. And you're also able to attach different files. So if I wanted to have a specific kind of visual, then I could also go ahead and copy and paste to get more of a visual specific to what I'm looking for. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go straight ahead and start building. The more descriptive you are, the better. Replit Agent uses something called Streamlit in order to build out the tools. And Streamlit is a platform that leverages Python in order to build out applications. And so I'm going to go ahead and click on Start Building, and it'll begin configuring. So you'll see here that it actually says it's thinking. And then what will happen is it'll actually give you additional options for what you can include in the app. So you see here, it listed, I've created a plan for a savings calculator using Flask and Vanilla JS. The tool will allow users to input task details, calculate potential savings from automation, and display the results in a user-friendly manner. Let me know if you'd like to proceed with this plan or if you need any modifications. So it looks like these are two other frameworks that also uses Flask and Vanilla JS or JavaScript that it uses for building. And then it'll ask you, in addition to building the initial prototype, if you want to add these other features. For example, adding data visualization with charts to represent savings over time, implementing saving and comparing multiple scenarios, add a printable report feature for clients, integrate with CRM to capture lead information. Now, I've noticed that, again, this Replit Agent feature, and I imagine in the coming weeks to months, it'll be a lot more fleshed out. But when you add a little bit too much, then it can be very buggy because you still have to work through bugs. And sometimes it does mess up a little bit. So it may not be the case now because it's actually been a few weeks, but I'm going to start with building out the initial prototype, and then I'll also add the data visualization. So I'll approve that plan and start, and then it'll actually now begin coding the different files. And you can see here that it's actually creating the different files, and it's showing you step by step what it's going about building. So now it's installing Flask. So this is typically something that you would input to the shell or the terminal of your computer or software, and it goes ahead and actually does that for you. Okay, so now you see here, it gave this initial prototype, and now it's even asking you what you think about it. So it says, is the automation savings calculator web application loading correctly? Can you see the form with input fields for hours per week, hourly wage, and automation percentage? So you see here, hours spent per week on task, hourly wage, that's in how much you pay your employees, percentage of tasks that can be automated. So let's say we're talking about content creation, and we spend 25 hours per week on this, and we pay $22 per hour. And let's say we can automate 40% of particular tasks around content creation. Click on it, calculate savings, you see it's actually functional. The results, total labor cost per week, hours saved, money saved, yearly savings, and it created this graph for it over here. Now I can now go ahead and say, yes, everything is showing, click enter. And now it's going to the next step and adding the visualization with charts to represent savings over time. I'm thinking this maybe be a line graph of some sort, but we'll see what it comes up with. All right, so we've got a savings comparison field created here, then savings over time. And now let's see if it is working. So let's do this. Let's do 30 hours a week on a task. Let's just say $20 an hour. And then let's say 60% can be automated, calculate savings, showing the results, savings comparison. And then we have what that savings can look like over time with 60% of a task that you spend 30 hours a week on. So over the course of a year, you're looking at an $18,000 savings over time. So these are the kinds of tools that you're able to build out with Replit Agent. I like it right now for very simple sort of tools. You can work on even the aesthetic of it if you wanted to make the background a different color. I'm gonna first say, yes, it's showing. Can we make the aesthetic of the tool more chic? I like a futuristic, postmodern kind of purple. Comes back, I'll work on the aesthetic of the tool, and then it really processes that information. Still not loving this, to be honest. How about I say, please make the background a gray gradient kind of color, then make the calculate savings button black. All right, so you see it didn't actually implement it. So I'm gonna go and say the function is there. However, the background is not gray and the button is not black. So you see that you have to work through it. Sometimes there are bugs, an error might come up, and this is just kind of the nature of it right now. And this is where Replit Agent differs a little bit from Claude at the moment, in that these kinds of issues don't necessarily come up in a Claude, these simple kind of aesthetic type of issues. It does not have gray background or black button. How about we just change everything to black and white? All right, so it changed it back to black and white. It kept the savings button blue. And then just to test it out one more time, let's go 20 hours spent on a task. Let's say $25 an hour. Let's say 80% can be automated, and then calculate savings. And then it shows you what this looks like over time. Total labor costs per week, $500. Oh, let me just do these numbers and make sure it's actually accurate code. And from here, so we're just going to leave it at this. And then from here, you can actually at the top right, click on deploy. But before we do that, let's just say, yes, everything looks good. All right, so now it's built the prototype, it's added the data visualization. So now it actually brought up the deployment page for you. So you have these 4 different options that you can go ahead and use to deploy. Click on set up deployment. You can go ahead and click on deploy at the bottom here, and it'll actually start deploying the app for you. Okay, now so it has deployed. I'll click on this expand button right here. It shows up, and so we can test it out. Say 30 hours, say 30-hour hourly wage, 50% can be automated. Calculate savings, shows you the results, and it gives you this calculator right here. So this is something that you can now go ahead and embed on your website. It can be on a particular page on your website, and it could be really great for SEO if you wanted to have this, or it could be used as a tool when you're meeting with prospects or to show the power of automation. What makes Replit Agent of value is the fact that it installs the programs for you, and it does that beginning manual parts to get the environment set up. So this is how you can go about building out simple tools using Replit Agent. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this. I'm going to be doing other examples with Cursor for more complex examples, but this is what I like for straightforward tools and shows the power that we're seeing with natural language programming.